Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus seems to be on. CR7, not only the most powerful striker in our game, but he's also the biggest individual brand in all sports. We'll break down this mammoth move.
And it's speed and power versus a lockdown defense as France and Uruguay prepare to face off. And for Los Charruas, how do they manage without leading man Edinson Cavani?
What a game that promises to be. Don't forget about Brazil, Belgium as well, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, there's that little game to talk about. It's so nice to have the extra day, right, to recover after Independence Day. And of course, the games will start on Friday. This is Extra Russia.
Never has 2 days felt more like a lifetime. 2018 World Cup in Russia has been spellbinding, and Friday's quarterfinals cannot get here quick enough. We're absolutely thrilled you've joined us for day 21 of the Extra Russia. Welcome inside our beIN Sports studios. My name is Kevin Egan alongside Jeremy St. Louis. Thrilled to be joined by Andres Cordero and Matteo Bonetti. So, we thought we had a 2-day break, Dre. Step in Cristiano Ronaldo.
You know, there aren't very many players on the planet who could hijack the conversation with transfer talk during a World Cup.
We're going to get a lot more on Cristiano Ronaldo and that potential switch across to Juventus now with our Spanish and Italian reporters, Jamie Easton and Tancredi Palmieri.
The Culebrón, Kevin, as you say in Spanish, the soap opera continues with Cristiano Ronaldo today. There were meetings in Madrid between Real Madrid, between Jorge Mendes, and there was something that Real Madrid asks Cristiano Ronaldo and Jorge Mendes, his agent, and they are asking them to publicly explain all the Madridistas the reasons why Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave, because obviously Real Madrid know that nobody would pay the 1,000 million euro of the buyout clause. They accept that more or less 100 million euro, but they need them to explain their fans why they are selling their biggest star for 10 times less money as he values in the market.
What has changed today is that yesterday Cristiano was in between Real Madrid and Juventus. Today it is most likely Cristiano to sign for Juventus than him staying at Real Madrid. We can shift from 49% to 51% the thermometer, but there are so many signs going in that way, starting from the fact that Florentino Perez has called for next Tuesday a meeting with the Junta Directiva, with the directors of executives of Real Madrid. It means that something huge is happening. Cristiano Ronaldo in this moment actually also is in Madrid, so he has interrupted his holiday.
And knowing Real Madrid, it is strange them allowing their star to go away without having a plan B, without having another name in mind to replace Cristiano Ronaldo in the team, an attacker most concretely. And they have different options, but...
Yes, there will be earthquakes. There will be definitely earthquakes happening in Europe, but especially first in Serie A, possibly the biggest signing in the last 21 years for the Italian league. They are staying put at Juventus. They are keeping control, but the champagne is ready to explode because Cristiano Ronaldo is that close, possibly hours far from Turin. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. George Mendes, Ronaldo's agent, said late in the day that if Cristiano does happen to move, it'll be a new challenge for him, which I guess is not out of the realm of what you would expect his agent to say. Dre, is this an ego move for Cristiano Ronaldo, or is this actually because he does want a new challenge?
Yeah, I don't think ego factors in at all. Cristiano Ronaldo capped off his third consecutive Champions League final with immediate comments in his post-game touchline interview that he was speaking about Real Madrid sort of in the past tense, how it was nice to have been a Real Madrid player. So obviously we knew some of this stuff was going to come, but I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit on this story in that it sounds to me like Mendes is trying to get a better deal for Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid. The last contract he signed, I believe, was in 2016, which when they put that $1 billion buyout clause in his contract. And while this is being reported now by credible journalists, you've got George Mendes on the record talking about a potential exit, I still think this is an attempt to leverage leverage against Real Madrid.
But you don't think that there's not something being discussed, that there are discussions that are taking place?
I have no inside knowledge of those discussions, but credible enough sources have talked about it to where I expect that that is actually going on.
Like it could be credible and also false at the same time.
It could be Mendes playing. It could be Mendes playing one or both clubs. Ronaldo just signed a $21 million check to the tax authorities at the start of the World Cup. Maybe something to get a little extra money out of it.
You guys commentate on Juventus and Serie A week in, week out here at beIN Sports, and what will this do for the team? Because they've been so close in the Champions League, 2 finals in the last 4 years, and it will also have a huge impact, Matteo, on the league itself, Serie A.
It's the biggest thing that could happen to the league since the mid-2000s when players of Ronaldo's caliber were gracing the pitch in Serie A. Serie A doesn't have one marketing star. Ronaldo is the most followed athlete in social media. I think he's the most marketable athlete in the world. There's that. There's the kit sales. There's the fact that just the mist of this rumor made the Juve stock go up by 22%. There's the fact that he could be the global face of Ferrari. As a marketing move, it makes sense for Ronaldo. Of course, it makes sense for the Serie A. There's a lot of different people coming together, a lot of different companies coming together to try to make this happen. We've heard rumors of Adidas, Ferrari, Fiat, Juventus, the Agnelli family, getting everyone together. Rumors that he would be made the face of Ferrari as kind of like another bonus. There you go. You love your supercars, Ronnie. Go on and be the face of this beautiful brand. There's so much off the pitch as well that is starting to come out. I think it has to do, back to your question, on who they lose. Who will they lose to finance? This goes against everything we've seen from Juventus, where it's been a sell to buy. How do you replace a 60 million euros gross to get that 30 million net? They'd have to lose Higuain, they'd have to lose Dybala most likely.
Alexandro.
Will they lose too many pieces where suddenly Juve aren't better than they were last season? They've been to the Champions League final twice in the last few years. They were so close. They were 45 minutes away from beating Real Madrid in the Champions League final.
There's also the idea that they've dominated Serie A for 7 consecutive years, 4 straight league and cup doubles. They've been to 2 Champions League finals, as you say. Maybe the way to get to the next step is to do something dramatic, and something dramatic like this.
What does a move like this mean for Real Madrid?
I don't buy that this is actually happening until we know that Florentino Perez has somebody else lined up.
Let's say
Kylian Mbappe or a Neymar or someone along those lines. If it does happen, then I do expect Madrid to then break the bank to sign a replacement superstar. It's not inconceivable that they can make Isco the face of the team, but I would imagine if they lose Cristiano Ronaldo, they replace him with an Mbappe or a Neymar. If not immediately, then certainly within a single transfer window.
Also, Lopetegui, the new manager, obviously very high on Marco Asensio and Isco. Those two were having a hard time getting into this team from the starting 11 last season. They would obviously be made a much more important part.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about a football standpoint here, though, at all. I'm just thinking simply marketing. Real Madrid, the biggest club on the planet, losing Cristiano Ronaldo. And you're going to say Asensio or Isco.
No, of course.
Lovely players on the field, but it's a different beast.
They're not putting on batters for those guys.
It feels like Neymar would be the type of signing that goes in line with the way that Real Madrid have operated. Let's get the shiniest toy. Neymar is, because of his appearance. He's much more, even before he joined Barcelona, you looked at him when he was in the Brazilian league, and you're like, this guy's much more Real Madrid than he is Barcelona, based on all the theatrics, the hair, the jewelry. And then he kind of toned it back when he joined Barcelona, but he looks like he would be the ideal replacement if this does go through.
But would he go? Would Neymar go back to Madrid, considering he's been at Barcelona?
Don't say no to Madrid.
Well, I mean, Ronaldo, Fenomeno, the great Brazilian, played for both Barcelona and Real Madrid, Milan and Inter. Brazilians, historically, the great Brazilians have played at a number of big clubs, the clubs that they grew up idolizing, and I could see why there would be a huge attraction for Neymar to go and star for a Real Madrid. I will say, though, Florentino Perez doesn't collect players, he collects action figures. He collects marketable pieces. It's the reason that they've been talking about David De Gea for 3 seasons, where Keylor Navas has been brilliant and one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. It's not just about where they fit, it's about how you can sell them, which is why I'm not buying building the team around the likes of Isco and Asensio. They would go out and get another superstar talent, maybe even a Paulo Dybala.
And to add on to that point, Real Madrid have always signed players not based on necessity, based on what do they have. The image as well is huge, and I think Neymar has all the, I want to say the word intangibles, but he does. Other than being a brilliant footballer, I think he carries that other panache that would make him a great Real Madrid signing.
And there are reports late today that Real Madrid are preparing to offer Ronaldo a new contract.
Interesting.
Look at that.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Look at that, how that works.
It would be
right?
a wonderful fit, though, Juventus as well, for Cristiano Ronaldo.
You think it would prolong his career? We were having this discussion.
If I could add to that, yes. I think it would be brilliant for Cristiano to go play in Serie A for a Champions League contender. And it depends obviously on what pieces, as Matteo was saying, they would have to sell off. But Juve are a very young side right now. Despite the likes of a Khedira and maybe Barzagli, I think, signed for one more year, the nucleus of that team is a young team. I think Cristiano Ronaldo, with the pace of Serie A, could prolong his career. We've seen over the years guys like Toto Di Natale, Luca Toni, Gonzalo Higuain, at 30 and above, scoring ridiculous numbers in Serie A.
He says Juve is a young team. That's because Gigi Buffon's after.
There's something
That's the point, Matteo. We are going to discuss this in more detail after this coming break. We're going to discuss Kylian Mbappe potentially taking Ronaldo's place at Real Madrid as well.
Sorry to cut you off, buddy. We'll get back to you. We're just getting started on this half-hour edition of the Extra. Still to come, the latest news and notes from the transfer tracker. Yes, there are other players that are making moves other than Cristiano Ronaldo. We'll tee up Friday's opening quarterfinal match between France and Uruguay, and we'll also discuss how Brazil plan to shut down Belgium and vice versa. This is Extra Russia. We'll be right back.
Welcome back inside our beIN Sports studios for the Extra Russia. Kevin Egan, Jeremy St. Louis, Drake Cordero, Matteo Benetti with you. I know it's only Thursday. We've all got that Friday feeling, don't we? Gearing up for a few mammoth clashes here in the quarterfinals, and we'll start with the match in Volgograd, which pits the favourites against the leading scorers. For Brazil, Tite has already announced his starting 11. The big news is that Marcelo is fit and will start, taking the place of Felipe Luis at left back. And in midfield, Casemiro ruled out through suspension, so Man City's Fernandinho gets the nod. Not a bad like-for-like guy to have. Now, many Brazilians wanted to see Roberto Firmino start, but once more, it's Gabriel Jesus up top. One of the fascinating duels here will be Kevin De Bruyne going up against his fellow midfielder at City, Fernandinho.
Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Moscow, Belgium held their final session ahead of the clash with Brazil. Roberto Martinez with a full squad. His main objective will be trying to find a way to penetrate that resolute Brazilian defense. The Belgians are the tournament's top goal scorers, 7 of their 12 goals coming from different players. But Brazil have only allowed 1 goal against from a set piece and just 5 shots on target in 4 games.
In the first game on Friday, it's the mouth-watering clash of France and Uruguay. For the South Americans, Oscar Tabarez earlier refused to state whether Edinson Cavani will start Friday's World Cup quarter-final against France. PSG hitman resumed training today following a hamstring injury he suffered after scoring both goals in the 2-1 win against Portugal. Now, Uruguay have options if El Matador can't go. Christian Stuani had a class season with Girona and he'll run all day long. Maxi Gomez, sensation at Celta Vigo. But the footage here of Cavani training will give Uruguay fans hope.
France and their manager, Didier Deschamps, looked a confident bunch as they finished off their final training session Thursday. The only personnel absence for Deschamps is Blaise Matuidi, who misses out due to suspension. Other than that, France are good to go. They will test Uruguay's defense with the likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, and Giroud. In fact, Griezmann says he expects facing Uruguay will be like facing his club team, Atletico Madrid.
All right, Poindexters. Time to nerd up just a little bit ahead of these quarter-final games. Here's our Adriana Matamoros with a little stat pack.
Russia 2018 round of 16, where one team's joy is another's heartbreak. Just like the group stage, the knockout round saw shockers and a few more records to remember. Here's for the players. Mbappe is the first teenager to score twice in a World Cup match since Pelé in 1958. He also became the first teenager to score more than once in a World Cup since Michael Owen did in 1998. There's a talent. As for his PSG teammate, Neymar has attempted the most shots and most shots on target, has created more chances for teammates, and has suffered the most fouls of the tournament so far. And the teams? Uruguay is the first to win all 3 group games without conceding a goal. Last team to do so was Argentina 2 decades ago. Their run of 597 minutes without a goal ended when Pepe found the net in their knockout clash against Portugal. Sweden qualified for their first World Cup quarterfinal since '94, Croatia advanced for their first since '98, and England advanced for the first time in penalties. They become the 3rd team to advance on penalties in just this round of 16. Belgium win from being down 2+ goals within 90 minutes of a knockout round, the first in half a century back when Portugal beat North Korea 5-3 in the 1966 quarterfinal. And overall, we've seen 9 90th minute winning goals. There have just been 10 in the previous 5 tournaments combined. 2018 World Cup continues to surprise. Where will the semis take us?
Thanks, Adriana. With the round of 16 over, we've picked out the best 11 of the last 8 games. The production department doing a nice job here. Gentlemen, take a look. It's dominated by PSG players, as it turns out.
I know where the guys are looking.
Oh, yeah.
Holding midfielder.
It warms my heart to see Torreira on the round of 16 best 11.
We would have put him even if he didn't play a minute. Brilliant player.
Yeah, so I mean, there's your. I think Kasper Schmeichel's a great choice in goal because I thought he did so well.
I love to see Thiago Silva there as well because I don't know if he gets enough credit for how good he. Obviously, he had a falling out in Brazil where he was stripped of the captain's armband, wasn't called up for a while, but he's been brilliant for PSG and for Brazil.
Guys, look behind you there. It's very easy to forget Kylian Mbappe, still a teenager. This fella won back-to-back league titles in Ligue 1 with Monaco and then again at PSG. So we decided to take a look at some of his top 5 goals over the past couple of years, just to illustrate that pace, that confidence, that finesse that this guy has. And you guys saw him nice and early, didn't you, when you were commentating on Monaco games when he was 17?
You know, the flash, the improvement in his game from joining Monaco to PSG, he added that element of excitement, the kind of tricks you see from Neymar as well, and his chemistry with Neymar as well. Often they pop up together on the same wing and produce absolute magic.
Something that stood out for me always was his confidence. Here's a 17, 18-year-old kid playing in the Champions League against the likes of Arsenal, against the biggest teams on the planet, and he was demanding the ball from star players, asking for it, making those runs. His maturity as well when he decided to go to PSG as opposed to move to Real Madrid because he knew he needed to play at this stage in his career.
Also clocked second fastest player in the world behind Gareth Bale. He runs nearly 37 kilometers an hour, which is incredible. But that pace is what we saw him produce a goal for France. It really is electrifying pace, and he's not even in his 20s. Are you kidding me?
It's a classic Matteo Bonetti stat, that one. But you can understand the comparisons with Thierry Henry just because of the way he plays, right? Off the shoulder.
Yeah, sure.
He loves that finish with the inside of the foot.
I understand the comparisons, but the comparisons frustrate me. We opened this up with a graphic of Kylian Mbappe wearing the Monaco shirt, the PSG shirt, and the France shirt. And it's the perfect backdrop because he has been starring as a standout for 3 different teams across Ligue 1, the Champions League, and now at the World Cup. He doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. You don't have to compare him to anyone. Kylian Mbappe is arriving. Enjoy it.
Number 1 goal. Here's his numbers from the World Cup so far. 4 matches played, 3 goals scored. He has 5 shots. They've all been on target, and he has completed 76% of his passes, 64 out of 84. So when you look at Kylian Mbappe, and Dre, you mentioned that Real Madrid, if Cristiano Ronaldo does go to Juventus, that they're going to be looking for the shiny new toy.
Sure.
Is Kylian Mbappe the ideal man to replace Cristiano Ronaldo?
Maybe even more feasible than, say, someone like Neymar, because Neymar just made a world record transfer 1 summer ago, and I would say he's probably at least 1 more transfer window away from making a move. Mbappe perhaps could be pried away from PSG for the right price today, and I think in terms of his goal scoring, his creativity, his playmaking abilities, he would be a wonderful fill-in for Real Madrid.
With financial fair play possibly being reopened for PSG, Real Madrid might be able to get him for a little bit less than market
I left my calculator at home, but take a look at that picture of Mbappe with a poster of Ronaldo on his wall.
What's he doing in Ronaldo's room?
The idea that he could then replace him at Real Madrid is just poetic.
Wow. Nice.
It would be a brilliant signing, though. This guy is 7 years younger than Neymar, something that gets lost in translation. No one talks about.
Right.
Yeah.
7 years younger, and I think he has a higher ceiling than Neymar. I think he's a different kind of player. He can play as a central striker, right wing, left wing. He's versatile. He's very likable off the pitch.
Let's look at the happenings on social media as we inch closer to the last 8. An off day for the players usually elicits some fun stuff.
Neymar!
We start with kids the world over being inspired by Neymar. There's some kids training to be just like the Brazilian. Great form, but there's not enough rolling around
Right during a fire as
Producers
well,
telling me, guys, we've got live images of a Neymar family reunion. Let's check out the feed.
Oh, there it is! There it is! There it is!
The guy.
That's the classic cheese rolling. That video is always the best. That
Where's
video
the
is
cheese?
always the. It rolls down at the front. There it is, right there. See it bouncing in the front? That's
Yeah, there we go.
How did no one Photoshop Neymar onto that image?
All right. Well, with the field down to 8 teams left to win the World Cup, it's time to change your predictions. If you're like me and you had Germany winning the whole thing, Jimmy Conrad asked a bunch of fans to do just that after England's big win over Colombia. And some of these fans are a bit shall we say, tired and emotional.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Conrad, and with the round of 16 at the World Cup coming to a close, I had to come talk to my favorite supporters after the England-Colombia game to find out what they think is going to happen next. We're down to the last 8 teams in the World Cup. Who do you think can win it all?
Gosh, for this time around, it's hard to know, isn't it?
I think Brazil has a very good chance, even though they haven't impressed very much right now.
Gotta go with Brazil, no? I want England to win it. England?
Yeah.
I think Belgium or Croatia might take it all the way.
France looks really strong. France continues to look strong. England can get to the final. They got a path to the final.
So you're pulling for Colombia today?
You already know the answer to that question. Are you kidding me right now?
What makes this England team so special?
We've got a likable team for once. We've got guys who we can root for.
I think they've got a lot more fortitude and kind of stronger mindset than what they've had in the past.
The sense of entitlement for English fans is off the chart.
Exactly.
I mean, they say it's coming home. Like, they own the trophy, apparently.
Hey, they invent the game and they're not that great at it. So that's all I have to say.
Football's coming home.
It's not.
It's a long time coming. So coming home, I think it's fair. You know, any team would react that way. I think there's a lot of good sportsmanship in there as well. So it's unfair to really say that we're emotional in the time of need, really. We need this.
Oh, England's going to Russia. Oh, we're drinking all your vodka. Oh, England's going all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, that is it. The people have spoken, but now it is my turn, and I just want to state for the record that I really enjoy giving England fans a hard time, but it's only because I love them. It comes from a place of love. Anyway, thank you for watching beIN the Street, and I'll see you next time.
Quick transfer tracker for you. Amidst the rumors of Cristiano Ronaldo's departure, Real Madrid adding to the squad Thursday, the club announcing the signing of 22-year-old Spanish defender Alvaro Odriozola from Real Sociedad. Odriozola started 38 games between La Liga and the Europa League for Sociedad last season. Break time once again, but when we come back, we'll preview Friday's games and make our predictions for how it's all gonna go. Stay with us. Xtra Russia. We'll be right back.
You're very welcome back into the Xtra Russia. We're up against the quick predictions here. France, Uruguay. Matteo.
Gotta go with Uruguay.
I can't pick between these two. I say penalties. It'll be France on penalties.
All right. How about production? Who have you gone with, guys? Uruguay. I'm going to go with France. Very with Dre on this. It's going to be a close one. Jeremy.
I think it's going to be France. I think without Cavani, I don't think Uruguay can do it. I don't think they can do it. So let's go to the other game, Brazil and Belgium. Dre.
Brazil, the most talented team. They're the most solid team. They create more chances. They prevent the chances. Brazil.
Matteo.
Belgium finally live up to their expectations.
Jeremy.
Belgium.
Brazil for me. How about production? Ooh. Belgium as well.
Get it.
All right.
All right, there you go. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Xtra Russia. We're back at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday night to recap the first 2 quarterfinal matchups. Bye for now.
Everyone floss.